Hey everyone. Welcome to AfriHeart Stories, your go-to spot for African tales. Don't forget to like, subscribe and drop a comment. Now sit back and enjoy. Amaka leaned against her desk, scrolling through her cousin Neka's Instagram story. A screen recording played, a flurry of laughing emojis, gifs and excited messages from the family group chat titled, Cape Town Crew South Africa Airplane. Everyone was listed. Aunties, uncles, her siblings, even her little cousin from Enugu. Except her. She blinked twice, confused. She wasn't in the group? Her eyes trailed to Isioma's latest Instagram caption. Family trip loading. Vibes only, face blowing a kiss sparkles, with luxury suitcases and designer tags. Amaka's name wasn't mentioned and no one had said a word about it. Later that evening, Isioma breezed into the living room, spraying perfume. You look ready, Amaka said cautiously. Family vaki, Isioma chirped. I thought you saw the posts. I did. I just wasn't invited. Isioma laughed. You'd feel out of place, Amaka. No shade, but this isn't your vibe. You're more comfort food and notebooks. This is a yacht, champagne, glam kind of trip. Chinedu passed by, shrugging. Honestly, Maka, you wouldn't have come. Don't act hurt. Amaka stayed quiet. Their parents sat in the corner, unbothered. Her mother sipped tea and muttered, It's not a big deal. These trips aren't for everyone. Amaka rose and walked out. Outside, Mama F rocked slowly in her chair. You're quiet, girl? They're traveling. Everyone but me. Mama F patted the empty chair beside her. Child, if they can't see you, maybe it's time the world does. You don't have to chase seats at tables that were never built for you. That night, Amaka wrote just 2 words in her journal, level up. The next morning, Amaka mustered courage and went to Isioma's room. Why didn't anyone think I should come? Isioma turned slowly from her vanity. Because, darling, you just drag the vibe. It's a luxury trip. You dress like you're in a 2012 church choir. No offense. Amaka's throat tightened. So I embarrass you? You're not chic. You're smart, yes. But not that girl, Isioma said, fluffing her curls. This trip is curated. Like an aesthetic. You wouldn't fit the frame. Chinedu chimed in, overhearing from the hallway. It's just a vacation, Amaka. Don't make it emotional. Their mother's voice echoed from the kitchen. She should use this time to focus on something productive. Trips like this are for those who bring something to the table. That night, Amaka sat under the mango tree behind the house. She didn't cry. Stop trying to fit where you're not wanted, Mama F said. Let this pain birth something stronger. And something inside her shifted. For once, Amaka didn't want to explain herself. She wanted to evolve. Needing air, Amaka visited her favorite quiet cafe on Bode Thomas Street. It was mostly empty, save for a man sitting by the window, frustrated with his phone. She watched as he sighed and tapped helplessly. Having trouble? She offered politely. He smiled. I think I just insulted Siri in 3 languages. Amaka laughed, helping him reset his phone. As they chatted, she found him witty, observant, and refreshingly warm. I'm Leo, he said, extending a hand. And you're? Amaka. Nice name. Means beautiful, right? She nodded, surprised he knew. They spoke for hours, books, tech, dreams. He didn't ask about her family. Didn't judge her budget outfit. Just listened. As he rose to leave, he paused. Same time tomorrow? She hesitated, then smiled. Sure. She had no idea he wasn't just a charming stranger. He was a billionaire. Leo invited Amaka to a business dinner the next evening. She almost declined until Nancy said, Girl, he might be a psycho, or a prince. Either way, we'll get a story. Amaka chose her best black dress. Not flashy but elegant. When she arrived, she was blown away. 5-star decor, waiters in tuxedos and soft jazz playing. Leo greeted her with a warm grin. You look amazing. Throughout the dinner, she met his friends, warm, funny, inclusive. Not once did anyone make her feel like she didn't belong. You're quiet, Leo said at one point. I'm soaking it in, she replied. This isn't my usual world. He leaned in. It should be. You belong here, Amaka. For the first time, she believed it. Later that week, Nancy barged into Amaka's room, breathless. Girl, do you know who Leo is? Amaka frowned. A businessman? Leo Okonkwo. Tech billionaire. Silent investor in half of Silicon Valley. He's like Nigeria's Batman. Amaka nearly dropped her tea. She confronted him gently. Why didn't you say? He smiled. Would you have treated me differently if you knew? She paused, then shook her head. No. But, why me? Leo replied, because when I speak you listen. When you speak you think. And when you walk into a room, you don't try to own it, but you still light it up. Amaka's heart raced. For the first time, someone powerful saw her, not as a project, but as a person. She smiled, okay then. Let's see where this goes. On Saturday morning, Amaka sat at her work desk, sipping lukewarm tea, when Nancy barged in, phone in hand. They posted it, Nancy hissed, eyes wide. Amaka took the phone. On Isioma's Instagram story was a boomerang of the entire family at the airport, boarding passes in hand, matching shirts that said, E's family takes Cape Town. The caption read, missing in '01. Face with tears of joy airplane red heart. Amaka stared at it blankly. Her mother and father posed beside Isioma like royalty. Her brother flashed a peace sign. There wasn't even an attempt to pretend she'd been invited. Nancy fumed. These people are heartless. Amaka didn't cry. She'd cried enough. She just stood and began folding the clothes Leo had sent earlier, 2 custom outfits and a pair of designer flats. Leo has a business retreat in Cape Town, she said quietly. He asked if I'd like to join. Nancy froze. Girl, say yes. Say yes before I say it for you. That evening, Leo picked her up in a sleek black car. You okay? He asked gently. She nodded. I don't want to escape them. I just want to stop being invisible. Leo smiled. Then let's make this a trip to remember. Amaka walked into Murtala Muhammad International Airport like she owned it. Hair in soft waves, deep blue jumpsuit hugging her perfectly, skin glowing. Beside her, Leo walked casually in a black linen shirt and shades, every inch the mysterious billionaire. As they approached first-class check-in, Amaka heard a shrill voice behind her. Wait, is that Amaka? She turned slowly. Her entire family stood in line for economy check-in. Isioma mid-conversation, now frozen, passport dangling. Amaka? Her mother gasped. Traveling, Amaka replied simply, handing her passport to the check-in staff. Who's that man with her? Her father asked, brows furrowed. Leo turned, nodded politely and kissed Amaka's cheek. I'll be at the lounge. As he walked off, the staff ushered Amaka toward the private security lane. She glanced once more at her stunned family. Have a safe flight, she said with a smile, disappearing behind glass doors. Isioma was pacing the airport cafe. Who is he? She demanded, tossing her sunglasses on the table. Chinedu scrolled through Google Images. I swear I've seen that face before. Wait, Leo Okonkwo. Their mother leaned in. That name sounds familiar. Chinedu turned the phone to them. Leonardo Okonkwo, Nigeria's youngest billionaire investor. Isioma's jaw dropped. How is SHE with him? She's not even on LinkedIn. Their father sipped coffee, suddenly silent. Meanwhile, inside the luxurious lounge, Amaka sipped champagne as Leo laughed beside her. You sure you're okay? She nodded. They wanted to leave me behind. But I walked ahead. A nearby guest whispered to a waiter, Isn't that the girl from the TikTok video? Leo smiled. You're already a headline. Nancy's call came mid-flight. Amaka, wake up, you're trending. What? Someone filmed you and Leo at the airport. The caption says, when the forgotten daughter pulls up with a billionaire face with open mouth fire, over 800K views already. Amaka blinked, stunned. In Cape Town, as she stepped into the luxury vehicle waiting for them, her phone buzzed non-stop. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all ablaze. Leo glanced at her. Fame looks good on you. I didn't ask for this, she whispered. You didn't need to, he replied. They're just seeing what I saw the first day I met you. Amaka exhaled. The girl who was once forgotten, was now unforgettable. The hotel was a palace. Marble floors, chandelier ceilings and floor-to-ceiling ocean views. Amaka and Leo were escorted to the presidential suite. Hours later, while heading to the spa, Amaka heard a familiar voice down the hallway. You think you're better now? It was Isioma, arms crossed, lips trembling. How did you get here? Who even paid for all this? She hissed. Amaka smiled calmly. I stopped waiting for permission. Isioma scoffed. He'll drop you. Guys like that don't date girls like you. Leo stepped out of the suite behind her, perfectly timed. Actually, he said coolly, I chose her. Isioma blinked. You're really Leo Okonkwo? He nodded. And you must be the sister who thinks she's the main character. Isioma's mouth fell open. Amaka walked past her, gently brushing her shoulder. I'm not who I used to be, Isioma. And you're not in charge of my worth anymore. 2 days into their Cape Town trip, Leo mentioned casually over brunch, "I'm hosting a dinner for some global investors tomorrow night. Would you like to come?" Amaka hesitated. "With billionaires and CEOs?" Leo chuckled. "With people. People who'll respect you because you're with me, and eventually because you're you." Later that day she got a message from her father, "We heard you're here. Can we talk?" Instead of replying, Amaka asked Leo, "Can I invite my family to the dinner?" He blinked, surprised. "Are you sure? I want them to see who I've become. In my world now, not theirs." The next night, her family arrived underdressed, overwhelmed by the chandeliers and string quartet playing in the background. Amaka floated in radiant in emerald satin, heels clicking softly. "Is this your event?" Chinidu whispered. An investor leaned toward Leo. "That's your date?" "She carries herself like a queen." Leo grinned. "She is one." When asked about the guests, Amaka replied, "Yes, they're family. But not always in action." Isioma tried hard to fit in. She pitched herself to guests with desperate smiles. "I'm a lifestyle influencer. Maybe we can collaborate." The room offered polite nods, but attention always drifted back to Amaka, composed, insightful, magnetic. When a top VC asked about her fashion, Amaka smiled. "This is Nigerian tailoring. Handcrafted by a friend I'm investing in." Isioma's eyes widened. "You're investing now?" "Leo believed in my idea for a modest, sustainable women's brand," Amaka said. "Now others are too." That night, Isioma sulked in their standard room, scrolling her feed in frustration. Her engagement dropped. Her followers criticized her sponsored posts for being shallow. Meanwhile, Amaka was being featured in Cape Town Entrepreneurs Weekly. For once, Isioma couldn't talk her way into the spotlight. Amaka hadn't stolen it. She had built her own. The next morning, Amaka found her mother waiting by the lobby elevator. "Amaka," she said softly, I want to say I'm sorry." Amaka's guard shot up. "For what?" "For not seeing you. For ignoring you. You were always quiet. We thought, maybe you didn't want to belong." Amaka studied her mother's face. Her tone seemed gentle. But was it remorse, or embarrassment? "I never stopped wanting to belong," Amaka said. "I just stopped begging for it." Her mother sighed. "People are talking about you now. Your father's proud. So are we. Now that others see me, you suddenly do too?" Amaka's voice cracked. "What about before?" Leo approached silently, waiting. He gave her space. "I'll think about your apology," Amaka said. "But forgiveness doesn't mean I forget." Her mother blinked back tears as Amaka walked away. On the last morning in Cape Town, Amaka sat across from Leo on the suite's balcony, sunlight hitting the table spread, croissants, fruit, warm tea. "I have something for you," Leo said, handing her a sealed envelope. Inside were documents. Her name was listed as a founding partner in a new initiative, the Rise Fund, a women-led startup accelerator across Africa. Her eyes welled. "Leo, are you serious? You said you wanted to build something of your own. So let's build." "I thought I'd just be someone who got lucky." Leo smiled. "Luck introduces you. Worth keeps you in the room. You've got more than enough of both." She looked out at the sea and whispered, "I wish they'd believed in me before all this." "But do you believe in you now?" he asked. She nodded. "Then that's enough." As they prepared to leave the suite, Leo handed her a wrapped package. She opened it to find a handcrafted leather-bound journal. Inside were pages filled with handwritten affirmations, quotes, and plans she'd mentioned offhand during their time together. On the front page in his handwriting. "To Amaka. Never again let someone else's silence define your volume. This is just the beginning." She blinked fast. "You remembered all of this?" "I listened," he said simply. "You deserve to be remembered. Every version of you." Amaka hugged the journal tightly. For once, the tears weren't from pain, but from feeling deeply seen. It wasn't about Leo. It was about the girl she had almost abandoned. The one finally learning to stand tall in her own name. And this time she wasn't hiding. Lagos was hotter than Cape Town, but Amaka didn't mind. This time, when she stepped off the plane, camera flashes greeted her. Not for Leo, but for her. Nigerian media had picked up the viral video, and blogs titled her, "The Mystery CEO, Who is Amaka Ease?" Back home, Nancy ran into her apartment squealing. "Girl, you are everywhere. People are saying you're the new face of soft power. And guess what? You're trending again, for your speech at that dinner." Amaka laughed, overwhelmed. Her inbox was flooded, collab requests, interviews, podcast invitations. Leo's PR team helped her filter them. Her family, suddenly inspired, organized a welcome dinner. The house was cleaned like royalty was visiting. Isioma didn't say much. Just offered a stiff hug and a forced smile. Her parents treated her like a guest. Not pitying her this time, but unsure how to speak to the version of Amaka who no longer sought their approval. She kept the conversations light. Not cold but cautious. Boundaries were the luxury she'd earned. After everyone left, she sat alone in her room, flipping through her journal. She was no longer invisible. She was undeniable. One afternoon, Chinedu called. "Can we talk?" They met at a quiet cafe downtown. "I owe you a big apology," he said, sipping his drink. "We all owe you. But me especially." Amaka raised a brow. "Why especially you?" "I knew what they were doing. I saw how you were treated. I just stayed quiet. Thought if I played along, I'd stay in their good books." "That's what hurt the most," Amaka admitted. "You saw me being left out. And said nothing." "I was jealous too," he confessed. "You always had something deep in you. A fire. I pretended I couldn't see it because I was afraid of what it meant about me." Amaka looked down, heart softened. "I'm not here for redemption," he said. "I just didn't want to be a silent coward forever." She nodded. "It's never too late to see people clearly. I hope next time, you don't wait so long." He smiled faintly. "You've changed, Maka." "No," she corrected. "I just stopped hiding." Isioma's Instagram feed had turned cold. Brands pulled out quietly. A recent sponsorship had accused her of inflating engagement. Her sister's rising fame became her shadow. At a family brunch, she exploded. "Everyone acts like Amaka is some saint now." She left and suddenly became Queen Nigeria. Silence filled the room. Amaka looked up calmly. "Are you okay?" "You're not better than me," Isioma hissed. "I never said I was," Amaka replied. "But I stopped letting you dim me to feel taller." Isioma stood, voice shaking. "You stole my spotlight." "You can't steal what was never yours," Amaka said, voice low but firm. "You mocked me, excluded me, and now you're mad I found joy without your approval?" Isioma turned away, eyes stinging. Amaka didn't gloat. She simply stood, walked out with grace and whispered to herself. Let them deal with the silence they created. At the Women in Tech Global Summit in Lagos, Amaka stood behind the podium, lights blazing. The hall was packed. Cameras rolled. Her parents sat near the back. Chinedu beside them. Isioma didn't come. "I used to think being excluded meant I wasn't good enough," she began. "I didn't realize it meant I wasn't meant to shrink to fit someone else's idea of value." She paused. "Family didn't see me. Friends doubted me. But one man reminded me that worth isn't assigned, it's discovered." She didn't cry. She didn't flinch. "You can't always change your family," she concluded, "but you can choose the future they never expected you to build." Thunderous applause followed. Her parents clapped quietly, unsure of whether to stand or sit. Leo beamed from the front row. Amaka stood tall, not as someone's sister or daughter, but as her own legacy. It was a quiet Sunday evening. Rain tapped gently against the windows of Amaka's new apartment. Sleek, minimal, with a view of the Lagos skyline. She sat cross-legged on the couch, sipping tea, the leather-bound journal Leo had gifted her resting beside her laptop. Her inbox buzzed constantly now. Interview requests, speaking engagements, young women asking for mentorship. But one DM stood out. It was from a girl named Tenny. "Hi Amaka. I don't know if you'll see this. I'm 17. I just wanted to say, thank you. They told me I wasn't invited to my school's founders' dinner because I'm on a scholarship. Said I'd ruin the image. But after seeing your story, I bought a simple dress and walked in anyway." Everyone turned. But I didn't care. Because now I know, being invited doesn't define your worth. You do. You gave me courage. So, thank you. Amaka stared at the message, blinking through tears. She placed a hand over her heart. It wasn't just about her anymore. She opened her video editing app and pulled out a short clip, a slow-motion shot of her striding through Cape Town Airport in the deep blue jumpsuit. The camera panned up to her face as she turned slightly, smiling, Leo behind her in the background. She added a soft, orchestral instrumental underneath and typed the caption. "They said I wasn't invited. But I arrived anyway." She hit post. Within minutes it began to spread. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Thousands of comments poured in. She's a whole movement. From invisible to unstoppable. This is the energy we all need. Nancy called 2 minutes later, practically screaming. Maka, you've done it again. You've broken the internet. Again. Amaka laughed softly. It's not about going viral anymore. No, Nancy agreed. Now it's about impact. Her phone buzzed again. A call from Leo. Hey, Queen of the Uninvited, he teased. I saw the reel. You crushed it. Amaka smiled, stretching out on the couch. I didn't do it to prove anything. I just remembered who I am. Well, Leo said gently, the world's finally catching up. She ended the call, walked to her balcony, and breathed in the city air. Down below, horns blared. Life moved. She clutched her journal close, flipping to the last page, where she'd written her own words earlier that morning. If they won't give you a seat at the table, build your own and serve yourself. She looked out over the city and whispered, I'm not done yet. Because for every girl who was told she wasn't enough, for every woman left out, laughed at, overlooked, there was now a story proving that arrival doesn't require permission. And Amaka had arrived, beautifully, powerfully, unapologetically. Liked it? Thumbs up, subscribe, and join the AfriHeart fam. Your support fuels our stories. Until next time.